Hi, I'm Jeff Richards. When Sanae Takaichi became Japan's first female prime minister on October 21st, media celebrated the 64-year-old leader of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party as a Thatcher-like conservative who had broken Japan's political glass ceiling. Profiles called her an ultra-conservative hawk, a protege of the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and so on. Takaichi named 42-year-old lawmaker Kimi Onoda as Minister for Economic Security and the Cool Japan Strategy. Onoda also received another portfolio, Minister for Promoting an Orderly Coexistent Society with Foreigners. It's an odd title. It suggests that foreigners are not part of Japanese society, but outsiders to coexist with. This comes as policies toward foreign residents have become a flashpoint. Under its Japanese first banner, minor opposition party Sanseito pushed for tighter controls during the July 20th House of Councilors election, forcing other parties to respond. In this week's Japan Today Spotlight, we look at why foreigners are getting so much attention, what Onoda's new role means, and how it could affect both Japan's economy and its image abroad. It's one of the oldest tricks in politics. When things go wrong, find someone to blame. With falling wages, rising prices, and growing frustration, anti-immigrant rhetoric has found a much wider audience. Complaints include foreign tourists making a nuisance of themselves, filming social media videos, eating too much rice, which has contributed to a rice shortage, committing crimes, not integrating into their local communities, putting out their trash on the wrong days, and even causing accidents by driving on the wrong side of the road. The government also says some long-term residents aren't paying their pensions and health premiums, while others are buying property, forcing up real estate prices, which is out of the reach of ordinary Japanese citizens. Some observers and commentators in Japan do note that in public debate or discourse, the word foreigner often serves as coded language, usually aimed at Chinese or Southeast Asian residents rather than all non-Japanese. These stories have spread online for months, sometimes bordering on hysteria. Yet they all share one problem. Japan, the Japanese government, media, and public, to a large extent, tends to lump all foreigners together. Whether a person is a permanent resident, non-permanent long-term resident, technical trainee, temporary worker, or a tourist, it really makes no difference. Discrimination against foreigners is nothing new in Japan. Many have been refused apartments, denied bank accounts and credit cards, or stopped by police just because of how they look. These stories are rarely, if ever, national news. But that changed this year. When Prime Minister Takaichi gave her first diet speech on October 24th, one comment stood out. She said that some foreigners were breaking laws and rules, causing unease among Japanese people. Takaichi, who once criticized a foreign tourist for kicking a deer in Nara, announced that Kimi Onoda would lead the new post of Minister for Promoting an Orderly Coexistent Society with Foreigners. She promised a firm response, but insisted that this policy wasn't xenophobic. Takaichi gave no details on how the policy would work, though. For her part, Onoda says she will focus on preventing illegal residency, stopping shady employment, and addressing crimes or disruptive behavior by foreigners. Again, though, with no clear plan. Onoda herself is a controversial figure. Born in the United States to an Irish-American father and a Japanese mother, she and her mother moved to Okayama when she was just 1. Because of Japan's nationality law, she was not a Japanese citizen at birth, but later naturalized. After winning election to the House of Councilors in 2016, Japanese journalists reviewing candidate disclosures and nationality records, as they do in all democracies, revealed she still held U.S. citizenship. This is illegal under Japanese law, which requires dual nationals to choose one by age 22. She apologized, saying she didn't realize she needed to renounce it through the U.S. government. That process was completed in 2017. Constant anti-foreigner messages from Sanseito and other politicians are starting to sink in. Former Economic Security Minister Takayuki Kobayashi, now an advisor to Prime Minister Takaichi, said on October 4th that Japan must build a system that relies on foreigners as little as possible. Newly appointed Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi claimed that illegal employment of foreigners and worsening public safety are causing anxiety in local communities. Despite the backlash, Japan's economic future depends on foreign labor. A 2022 Japan International Cooperation Agency study estimated the country will need 3 times more foreign workers, about 6.7 million by 2040, to sustain 1.24% annual growth. Without them, experts warn sectors like farming, fishing, and service industries could stall or fail. Toshihiro Menju, a professor at Kansai University of International Studies, says many Japanese people still see immigrants as cheap labor who speak little Japanese and whose children struggle in school. He blames an immigration system that accepts workers but offers little support or communication to help the public understand their role. But the question remains, can Japan, a society built on conformity and group harmony, truly accept the number of foreigners it needs? Harmonious coexistence with different cultures is no longer just policy, it's a matter of national survival. Anti-immigrant groups often claim crimes by foreigners are on the rise, but police data does not support that. According to the National Police Agency, the NPA, about 12,000 foreigners were arrested last year, roughly 3 to 5% of all arrests. Most were for non-violent offenses, such as theft, fraud, or overstaying visas. Still, fear spreads easily. Many Japanese people look to Europe's immigration tensions and say they don't want the same thing here. Cities like Watabe and nearby Kawaguchi in Saitama Prefecture, home to large Kurdish communities, have become lightning rods for anti-immigrant sentiment. In Watabe alone, 12.4% of residents were born overseas. According to an AFP story published on October 2nd, 2025, the Japan Kurdish Cultural Association in Kawaguchi said it has received messages calling Kurds scum. That same article notes that anti-Kurd sentiment in Kawaguchi has grown since 2023, including brawls, online hate speech, and local resolutions targeting some foreigners. Africans and Muslims have also faced growing hostility, often fueled by misinformation and poor communication by Japanese institutions. In August, the Japan International Cooperation Agency launched a hometown exchange program, pairing 4 Japanese cities with African partner countries. Imabari in Ehime with Mozambique, Kisarazu in Chiba with Nigeria, Nagai in Yamagata with Tanzania, and Sanjo in Niigata with Ghana. The program was scrapped after a wave of protest calls and emails claimed that it would encourage African immigration and threaten public order. In October, the Aichi prefectural government began a campaign called Share Aichi's Charm with the World's Muslims. It encouraged residents to share posts about Muslim-friendly food options and local experiences. The backlash was immediate. Emails warned that Aichi will be taken over by Muslims, quote unquote, and questioned why the prefecture was promoting a specific religion. Several schools and shopping centers have faced similar complaints for planning Muslim-friendly halal lunches or prayer spaces. Sanseito founder Sohei Kamiya denies being racist. At a rally in Yokohama, he said he only wants to protect the peaceful lives and safety of Japanese people. Foreigners who respect the Japanese way are welcome, he said, but those who cling to their own customs won't be accepted because they cause stress and anger among locals. Kamiya argues that the government allows foreign workers in mainly to serve big business, not ordinary citizens. There's a clear contradiction in this rhetoric. Japanese communities abroad often maintain their own language, customs, and even schools. But in Japan, foreigners are expected to assimilate completely. The same voices calling for coexistence rarely see this as a two-way process. They also note Kamiya's comments and much of the wider debate frame immigration purely as a tool to grow the economy, to make money and grow industry, not as a step towards a more inclusive or multicultural society. Kimi Onoda has a big job ahead of her. Perhaps she can merge her cool Japan strategy with her coexistence plan. Maybe. But both she and newly minted Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi will need to help Japan decide what kind of society it really wants to be. That won't happen through lip service, tough talk, or populist slogans and fear. That will only come from open debate and political participation from regular Japanese folks themselves. I'm a long-term foreign resident here. I know this isn't my fight, but it's one that affects all foreigners who do call Japan home. Because for all this talk about coexistence, it's ultimately Japan that must choose whether it wants to close its doors or open them wider to the world. Until then, the word coexistence will stay just that, a word. Thanks for watching Japan Today Spotlight, and from the Japan Today newsroom here in Tokyo, I'm Jeff Richards. See me next time.